I was the only one without a Christmas gift. Then my family said I was too rich to need one, so I gave them a gift they'll regret forever. I'm a 29-year-old guy named Matt, and Christmas has always been a big deal in my family. We do the whole thing, big dinner, matching pajamas for the kids, and, most importantly, the gift exchange. Every year we all put effort into getting each other something nice. Nothing extravagant, just thoughtful gifts that show we care. This year I was actually looking forward to it more than usual. Work had been brutal, and I couldn't wait to just relax, eat way too much food, and be around my family. I showed up at my parents' house, like always, carrying a few bags of gifts for everyone. My older brother and sister were already there with their spouses and kids. My younger sister had also arrived, quietly sitting near the tree, helping one of the kids unwrap a present. The house was full of noise, kids running around, Christmas music playing, the smell of cinnamon and baked ham in the air. I walked in, and my mom gave me a quick hug, but something felt off. I couldn't put my finger on it at first. My dad gave me a nod from the kitchen, and my siblings greeted me, but there was this weird hesitation, like they were waiting for me to say something. I brushed it off, maybe I was imagining things. The gift exchange was always the highlight of the night. We did it before dinner, and it was chaos in the best way. Wrapping paper flying, people laughing, kids screaming in excitement. As usual, I sat down on the couch, ready to watch my nieces and nephews open their presents first. My sister handed them gifts one by one, making sure each kid got something before moving on to the adults. Presents kept getting passed around. My brother's wife got a fancy scarf. My sister unwrapped a spa gift set. My dad got a new golf glove. My mom a cookbook she'd been wanting. Even my cousin, who only showed up once every few years, got a box of gourmet chocolates. I waited and waited. At first, I thought maybe they were saving mine for last, no big deal. But then, one by one, the gifts started disappearing. Every person in the room had something in their hands. Everyone was thanking each other, holding up their presents, showing them off, except me. I sat there, hands empty, watching as the last of the gifts were opened. The room started to settle. My mom picked up scraps of wrapping paper. My sister-in-law was helping her daughter take a new doll out of the box. My dad was already focused on pouring himself another drink. I finally spoke up. "Oh, I think mine might have been misplaced." My mom paused. She looked at my dad. My siblings glanced at each other. There was this weird silence, like no one wanted to be the one to say it. Then my dad cleared his throat. "We just assumed you wouldn't really need anything this year." I laughed, expecting him to be joking, but no one else laughed. "What?" My sister was the one who finally spoke. She shifted uncomfortably in her seat before saying, "Well, you're single, you don't have kids, and you make more money than the rest of us, so we figured you'd be fine without gifts." It took a second for that to register. "So, because I don't have kids, I don't get a Christmas gift?" My brother shrugged. "The kids come first." I looked around the room. Every adult in that house had gotten a gift. My brother, his wife, my sister, her husband, my parents, even the random cousin who barely spoke to us, but not me. I sat there trying to process it. I had spent money on thoughtful gifts for every single person in that room, picked out a new kitchen gadget for my mom because she loved cooking, got my dad a bottle of his favorite whiskey, bought my niece that art set she'd been wanting, made sure my nephew got the video game he had been talking about for months, and they didn't even think I deserved a single present. I looked down at my empty hands. Everyone else just carried on like it wasn't a big deal. My sister-in-law made a joke about how long it was taking to get the ham out of the oven. My dad switched the topic to football. It was like I wasn't even there, like I was an outsider at my own family's Christmas. The room kept buzzing with conversation, but it was like I wasn't even there. Wrapping paper crinkled under people's feet. My nephew was already playing with his new toy, and my mom was collecting gift bags, acting like nothing happened. My younger sister gave me a quick glance, then looked away, as if debating whether to say something. I sat there, still empty-handed, staring at my family, waiting for someone, anyone, to acknowledge what just happened. Minutes passed. No one said anything. Finally, I broke the silence. "So, because I don't have kids, I don't get gifts? How does that make sense?" A few people glanced at each other, then back at me. My mom let out a tired sigh, shaking her head like this was something I should just accept. Dad crossed his arms. My older brother just leaned back, looking like he wanted to be anywhere but here. Mom spoke first. "It's not that we don't love you, honey, but we had to prioritize. Christmas is expensive." Across the room, my brother nodded. "The kids come first. It just seemed fair." I looked at the pile of gifts, at the adults sitting around me, all holding something, my sister adjusting a new bracelet on her wrist, my dad already flipping through a book someone got him, My sister-in-law smiling down at a brand new handbag. Every single one of you got something, I pointed out, my voice sharper now. It's not just the kids. Every adult in this room got a gift except me. No one had an answer for that. That's when my sister-in-law rolled her eyes. Oh, come on, it's not a big deal. You don't even care about material things. The same thing they always said. I was single, I made good money, I had everything I needed, so why did it matter? I sat back, replaying every Christmas, every birthday, every holiday gathering, the expensive bottles of wine I brought to dinners, the concert tickets I bought for my brother's birthday last year, the way I always made sure my niece and nephew got something cool. I always gave, and somehow it had never occurred to me just how little I received in return. Then a quiet voice cut through the noise. My nephew, only 10, looked up at me with wide eyes. Uncle, why didn't you get any presents? The room went awkwardly silent again. No one answered him. Dad cleared his throat and finally spoke. We just figured you'd rather save your money instead of us wasting it on something you don't need. That was it. I pushed myself up from the couch. So basically, I'm only here to give, but not to receive? What kind of family treats someone like that? My mom let out an awkward laugh, waving a hand like I was being ridiculous. Oh, don't be dramatic, sweetheart. I grabbed my jacket, ignoring the way my sister and brother looked at me like I was ruining the night. Without another word, I walked to the front door. No one stopped me. No one even texted me after I left. I drove home, the streetlights blurring past the windshield, no music, no distractions. Just the same thought replaying in my head. They really didn't think I mattered enough to include me. Later that night, I called my best friend. I hadn't planned on venting, but the second they picked up, the words spilled out, the awkward silence at dinner, the gifts being handed out one by one, the moment I realized I was the only person left out. They were stunned. That's messed up. The conversation made me feel a little less crazy, but it didn't erase the anger buzzing under my skin. So, I did something I'd never done before. I took it to the internet. I opened Reddit, went to r/true off my chest, and typed it all out. Every single detail, the gift exchange, the excuses. The moment my 10-year-old nephew noticed before any of the adults did. At the end I asked, am I overreacting for being upset about this? I hit post and put my phone down. I wasn't expecting much. Maybe a few people would agree, maybe someone would tell me to get over it. Either way, I just needed to get it out of my system. But within an hour, my notifications were blowing up. Thousands of upvotes, hundreds of comments. People were furious on my behalf. The top comment had thousands of likes. They didn't forget you. They excluded you on purpose. Others shared similar stories. People who had been treated like afterthoughts by their families. People who had gone no contact for less. Some even pointed out how manipulative my family's reasoning was. Then the messages started. A cousin DM'd me, dude, I saw your post. I always thought it was weird how they treat you. Another relative commented, I never realized it before, but yeah, they take you for granted. By the time I went to bed, the post had exploded. It wasn't just my family anymore. Thousands of strangers were calling it out. And from the way things were going, my parents were going to find out sooner or later. And when they did, I had a feeling things were about to get a lot worse. I woke up to my phone vibrating non-stop, missed calls, voicemails, a flood of notifications. The first thing I saw was a text from my younger sister. Mom saw the post. She is livid. Then the phone started ringing again. Mom. I let it go to voicemail. A few minutes later, a long message came through. How could you humiliate us like that? Another call. Dad. Then a new message from my older brother. You really had to air out family business to strangers on the internet? So, they found it. The Reddit post had taken off overnight. Thousands of comments, shares, even messages from people saying they had been through the same thing. Apparently, someone in the family had come across it and sent it to my parents. Another text came through from a cousin. Dude, your post is everywhere. And honestly, I always thought it was weird how they treat you. By the time I scrolled through all the messages, my mom had left another voicemail. Her voice was sharp, like she had been holding back tears. You're making us look like monsters. You know we love you, but we had to prioritize. You don't have kids, you don't need anything. And now you're turning the whole family against us. Another message from Dad, short and to the point. We're your family. You don't turn on your own blood over a couple of gifts. It wasn't just about the gifts. It was about being treated like I didn't matter. A few hours later, a message came in from someone unexpected. My mom's sister. She had seen the post. I don't blame you for being upset. The way they handled that was wrong. Just know that not everyone in this family agrees with them. That was the first real support I got from someone in the family. But the drama wasn't over. My sister-in-law blocked me on everything: Instagram, Facebook, even WhatsApp. I checked the family group chat. She had left it. My brother was still in there, but he hadn't said anything since his angry text that morning. Maybe he didn't care. Maybe he agreed with Mom. Or maybe he was just used to me being the one who kept quiet. Then a cousin sent me something that made my stomach drop: a screenshot of a gift list. It had been made weeks before Christmas. My name wasn't on it, not crossed out, not overlooked, just completely missing. It listed every single person who was getting a present. Even distant relatives I barely saw had their names on it. Mine wasn't there. Then a second message came through from the same cousin. Also just found this out: your parents had a set budget for gifts. Instead of getting you something, they decided to take your share and divide it up between the kids. So it wasn't that they forgot. It wasn't a mistake. They had deliberately cut me out. A few hours passed before my phone rang again. Mom. This time, I answered. Her voice was calmer now, but there was this forced patience in it, like she was trying to hold back her real thoughts. Look, let's just move past this, okay? Just take the post down, and we can talk about this like adults. There it was, the real reason she was calling. I didn't answer. She tried again. You have no idea how embarrassing this is. People are asking questions. Just delete it, and we'll forget this happened. Still, I stayed silent. Then her voice dropped into that guilt-tripping tone she always used when she wanted to make me feel like the bad guy. You're really going to ruin our reputation over this? I hung up. Minutes later, another text came from my younger sister. Mom is freaking out, but for what it's worth, I get why you're upset. That was the closest thing to an apology I had gotten from anyone. Christmas used to be something I looked forward to. Now it was just a reminder that I wasn't really part of the family, not in the way my siblings were. By the end of the night, I had already made up my mind. Next Christmas, I wasn't spending it with them. The next morning, my phone was already vibrating before I even opened my eyes. Missed calls from Mom, Dad, older brother, more messages than I could count. I ignored them and scrolled through Reddit instead. Overnight, the post had taken on a life of its own. A cousin must have seen it and sent it to my parents, because there was no other way they'd have found it so fast. My post had blown up even more overnight. Thousands of people were still commenting, sharing their own stories, calling out the toxic favoritism. It had been shared across multiple subreddits, even making it to Twitter. People were furious on my behalf. I went back to my messages. A new one had come in. A family group chat had been created. Family comes first. The second I opened it, the messages started popping up. Mom, I can't believe you did this. Dad, you embarrassed the entire family. Older brother, all this over some stupid gifts? You're pathetic. It just kept going. Accusations, guilt-tripping, insults disguised as concern. Then a new message popped up from Dad. You've always been selfish. Maybe this is why you don't have a family of your own. I stared at the message for a moment, then I left the group chat, blocked it. The second I did, my phone rang again. Older brother. I let it go to voicemail. A few minutes later, a voice memo appeared. His voice was loud, angry. Christmas isn't about you. Grow up. You're acting like a spoiled brat. We all have responsibilities. You wouldn't understand that because you only have to take care of yourself. Another text from Mom followed. You never cared about gifts anyway. You always said you weren't materialistic. Why are you acting like this now? I didn't answer. Instead, I went back to Reddit. The top comment stood out. They didn't forget you. They excluded you. Another comment caught my attention. This isn't new behavior. I guarantee they've been doing this your whole life. You just never noticed. A few minutes later, another message came in. My cousin, the one who had sent me the gift list, I was talking to my mom, and she reminded me of something. This isn't the first time they've treated you like an outsider. Apparently, when I was a kid, family vacations were planned without me. Everyone got new clothes for the first day of school except me. Even my high school graduation party had been a thrown-together, last-minute event, while my siblings got full celebrations. It wasn't just Christmas. It had never been just Christmas. My younger sister texted me next. I get why you're upset. I really do. I've noticed things too, but I don't know how to stand up to them. I put my phone down. Later that night, my uncle, Mom's brother, messaged me out of nowhere. We had never been close, but his text was simple. Your parents have always played favorites. You deserve better. That was the moment I made my decision. I wasn't going to argue anymore. I wasn't going to defend myself or explain why I was hurt. I didn't need to. I unfollowed my family on social media, muted their numbers, blocked the family group chat. No more explanations, no more justifications. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. For the first time in years, my phone was silent. No family messages, no calls, no passive-aggressive comments. Just silence. A week passed. No contact. The peace was almost unsettling, but it didn't last. Then the bomb dropped. A text from my younger sister popped up. "Mom is telling people you're mentally unstable and need help." I knew she'd never admit fault, but twisting the narrative this far? That was a new low. I stared at my screen. Seriously? I checked social media. Sure enough, Mom had made a post. One of those vague, guilt-tripping ones that older relatives eat up. It's so sad when people let anger and entitlement poison their hearts. Family should always come first. The comment section was full of concerned messages. "Stay strong, Mama. Some people just don't appreciate family." Others chimed in, offering prayers and sympathy. No one knew the full story. Then more messages started coming in. Old family friends were reaching out, confused. "What's going on? Your mom is saying you refused to participate in Christmas this year." That was not what happened, not even close. Mom had completely flipped the story. Instead of admitting they left me out, she was telling everyone I refused to be part of the gift exchange, that I stormed out over nothing, that I had chosen to isolate myself. And it wasn't just Mom. A cousin sent me a screenshot from a family gathering. Dad casually telling people, "Guess Matt doesn't want to be part of this family anymore." Meanwhile, the family Facebook pages were active again. My parents, my brother, my sister-in-law, all posting Christmas photos like nothing happened, smiling, laughing, holding their gifts, making sure to show off what they got each other. No sign that anything had gone wrong. That would have been the end of it, except for one comment. A cousin, the same one who leaked the gift list, posted under the photos, "Weird how everyone got gifts except OP." The comment was up for exactly 5 minutes before it was deleted. Then Mom blocked the cousin. And just like that, the narrative started unraveling. More distant relatives started reaching out. "Hey, is it true what happened? Your mom is acting really weird about it." Then my mom's sister, the aunt who had reached out to me before, finally called her out. "I've kept my mouth shut long enough. You've always played favorites, and now you're lying to cover it up." I didn't see the response, but another cousin sent me a message right after. "Your mom is having a meltdown. She's saying she's being attacked. It was all falling apart." Then a final message from my brother. "Mom is crying. Are you happy now?" I took my time before responding. I was the only one who didn't get a Christmas gift. "Are you happy?" Then I blocked the chat. And just like that, the meltdown was no longer my problem. After blocking the family group chat, things finally started to quiet down. No more guilt-tripping texts, no more Facebook posts painting me as the villain, no more phone calls trying to drag me back into their mess. For the first time in weeks, I had peace. Until I heard a knock at my door. It was early evening. I wasn't expecting anyone, so I ignored it at first, but then the knocking got louder. I checked the peephole. Dad. I hesitated, then opened the door just enough to see his expression. No anger this time, no frustration, just calm, too calm. "Your mother is devastated," he said. "Just apologize and we can move on." I didn't answer right away, just stared at him. Apologize for what? For expecting to be treated like a normal family member? For pointing out the obvious favoritism? I asked him straight up. He let out a heavy sigh, stepping back slightly. "Look, your siblings need more help than you do. You don't have kids, they do. It's just how things are." There it was. The unspoken rule they had all been following for years now said out loud. I didn't have kids, so I didn't count. I wasn't struggling, so I wasn't worth including. I repeated his words back to him. "So, I'm not really part of this family, am I?" Dad shifted uncomfortably, crossing his arms. "Of course you are. You're just in a different place in life. A different place. Not an equal place. Not a place that deserved the same effort, care, or respect." I stepped back inside and grabbed the door handle. "If that's how you see me, then I don't need to be part of this anymore." Then I shut the door. For the first time, I felt relief instead of guilt. No more trying to convince them I mattered. No more explaining why I deserved to be treated like family. A few hours later, my phone lit up again, missed calls from my siblings, texts from my brother. "You're the one tearing this family apart. Blocked. You're being ridiculous. Blocked. Mom is crying. Hope you're happy." Blocked. I was done. A day later, an unexpected message came in. My aunt, the one who had stood up for me. I meant what I said. "You deserve better. If you don't want to spend next Christmas alone, you're welcome to spend it with us. No guilt, no pressure, just a real invitation." And for the first time, I considered it. Or maybe I'd take a trip somewhere new, make my own traditions, do something that didn't involve sitting in a room full of people who only saw me as a wallet. That night, my younger sister texted, the only one who hadn't blocked me or sent nasty messages. Mom is saying she regrets how Christmas went. I waited for the follow-up, but she won't say it to you directly. Of course she wouldn't. And that told me everything I needed to know. A few days passed, no texts, no calls, no new group chat attempts, just radio silence. Then my phone buzzed. A message from my younger sister. Mom says she regrets how Christmas went, but she won't say it to you directly. Of course she wouldn't. Instead of reaching out, she was doing what she always did, telling everyone else how bad she felt, hoping the message would get back to me. It didn't stop there. Over the next few days, I got random messages from cousins, aunts, even an old neighbor. Your mom feels awful. She was just trying her best. She didn't mean to hurt you. But still, no direct apology. Then my aunt, the one who had been on my side, called me. Your mom is embarrassed, but she'll never admit it to your face. No shock there. It wasn't about fixing things, it was about saving face. And then she pulled her next move. I logged into Facebook and saw I had been tagged in a post. An old family memories collage, pictures from past holidays, random childhood moments, a vague caption about cherishing the people who matter most. No mention of Christmas, no mention of what had happened, just a subtle way to act like everything was fine. I ignored it. No likes, no comments. And that's when the guilt tripping started. A new message from my brother popped up. You're really going to hold a grudge over some Christmas gifts? Grow up. Not a single person had apologized. Not one. They didn't regret excluding me. They regretted that I fought back. Then Mom played her next card. A cousin sent me a warning. Your mom has been sighing a lot about how stress is bad for her health because of all this drama. Right, so now I was supposed to feel bad for her? I let another few days pass. No reaction, no texts. I waited to see if she'd finally cave and just talk to me directly. She didn't. Instead, my aunt called again with a new piece of information. Your mom actually told me she was hoping this would teach you a lesson. That stopped me cold. This wasn't about money. This wasn't about Christmas being too expensive. They wanted to remind me of my place. My role in the family wasn't to be included. It was to give and never expect anything in return. That's when I finally sent a text to Mom. If you actually regret what happened, you tell me directly, not through other people. The response came instantly. Don't put this all on me. You're the one making a big deal out of nothing. And just like that, I blocked her number. No more guilt tripping, no more games, no more family that only saw me as useful but never worthy. The silence didn't last long. After blocking my mom, I expected a final explosion, one last desperate attempt to guilt trip me. But instead, they took a different approach. They acted like I didn't exist. The first sign was the social media cleanse. My mom, dad, brother, and sister-in-law stopped mentioning me completely. Normally, even if we weren't super close, my mom would at least tag me in old family photos or post the occasional missing my son kind of thing. This time, nothing. Instead, my brother suddenly became the golden child, posts about how proud they were of him, how he was such a wonderful father, and how family is everything. Nothing about me. Then came the passive-aggressive Christmas recap. Mom posted a long, emotional Facebook status about how some people don't understand what family really means. She didn't mention me by name, but the message was obvious. Then a text from my younger sister. I think Mom's just trying to prove she doesn't need you, right, because instead of actually apologizing, she was doubling down. But the plan wasn't working. Extended family started asking questions. A cousin reached out first. Why weren't you in any of the Christmas photos? Then an uncle. Everything okay with your parents? They're acting weird. Then my aunt stepped in again, the one who had supported me from the beginning. She left a public comment under my mom's Christmas post. Too bad not everyone was included this year. I checked back an hour later, the comment was gone. My aunt texted me, she deleted it, and now she blocked me. So now my mom was cutting off her own sister just to keep up the act. That's when Dad finally broke his silence. A single text, nothing dramatic, you know you're still our son. You don't have to make this permanent. I stared at the message for a long time before finally responding. Then why did you treat me like I didn't exist? No reply. The next day, Mom posted another vague rant, this time about family loyalty and how some people forget who was there for them. More relatives started reaching out. People who used to stay neutral were now seeing the pattern. Then the ultimate betrayal. A friend sent me a screenshot. Mom had reached out to a random friend of the family, someone I barely even knew, and invited them to next year's Christmas. Not to patch things up with me, not to fix anything, but to literally replace me. That was it, the final straw. But the plan backfired. People started unfollowing her. Relatives stopped responding to her posts, and for the first time, I realized I didn't care. Because ever since I cut them off, I had been happier, less stressed, and completely free. Months passed. No calls, no texts, silence. I had moved on. My life was calmer, my stress levels lower, and for the first time, I wasn't constantly waiting for the next family drama to drop. Then, out of nowhere, my phone buzzed. A message from Mom. "I miss my son." I stared at the screen. After everything, this was her grand opening line? Before I could process it, another message came through. "I just wish you'd apologize so we can be a family again." There it was, the real reason she reached out. She didn't miss me, she missed controlling me. She missed having someone to guilt trip. She missed having me play my role without question. I didn't reply. And then the final betrayal was revealed. My aunt, the same one who had stood by me this whole time, called and dropped a bombshell. My family was planning a big trip, a fancy Christmas vacation, flights booked, hotels reserved. Of course I hadn't been invited, not even a fake invitation. They were doing it without me. Then a text from Dad. "It's a shame you're making things so difficult. We're going to destination this year for Christmas. You could have come." I actually laughed when I read it. They thought I would feel left out. They thought this was a punishment. But in reality, I was relieved. If they didn't want me, then I didn't want them either. Instead of sitting around feeling bad, I made my own holiday plans. I booked a trip with friends. No forced small talk, no awkward silences, no feeling like an outsider at my own family gathering. Then another update from my younger sister. She had finally snapped at my mom. "You did this. You pushed him away." And Mom's final excuse? "I just didn't think he'd take it this seriously." Right, because to her, I was supposed to just accept the treatment, take the scraps, and never push back. Then the cracks in the family started to show. Without me to be the family scapegoat, old tensions started bubbling up. The perfect family dynamic was falling apart. My older brother, suddenly under pressure to be the golden child full-time, started getting fed up with Mom's expectations. My sister-in-law, who had happily sided with my parents before, started complaining about them being too involved in their lives. The unity they had after Christmas? Gone, and I wasn't there to fix it. Months later, I wrote out everything. The gift exchange, the gaslighting, the attempts to guilt-trip me. The moment I finally walked away for good. At the end, I wrote, "I'm done, and I've never been happier." A few weeks after that, my phone buzzed again. Another message from Mom. "I hope one day you'll come back." I didn't even open it.